Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Today I'm going to show you something that you can do with your Cricut machine or your Silhouette machine, and it's a lot of fun if you just want to print something. So what I saw online is this right here, and it's where you can get a Dinosaur font, and I'll have the link down below for you with a coupon code hopefully, but it's $12, and this is a font where every time you type in a letter you get, a different dinosaur that shows up. Well, not a different one. Every time you type in the D, you get this, or the O, you get this. And so that's really cool because it's an actual font. But I'm going to show you a way you can work around that if all that you want to do is to make a couple of names or something like that, and maybe a cake topper or something, and you're just going to print it out on a piece of cardstock. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so the first thing I did was I came to dafont.com and I typed in dinosaur over here in the search field, and I said search, and it came up with a couple of different fonts for dinosaurs, and the one I wanted to use was this one right here, so I downloaded it, but I'm not actually going to download it right now. Because I've already done it, but this just shows you the kind of dinosaurs and the pictures that you'll get in this font for free. So after I've downloaded that, then I come back to my Silhouette software, and the first thing that I did was I'm going to type in the name that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do Levi. Okay, so I have changed my font over here so it says Impact, and I have my caps locks on. So I'm going to type in the word, whoopsie, I had that selected still. Let me change that back to Impact. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm going to come over here and click and type in the word Levi. Get the text tool again, click here and type Levi. Okay, that looks pretty good. I can click off of it, then click back on to get all these little boxes so I can change its size just by stretching it. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these letters closer together. We can do that in this program just the same way we can in Cricut Design Space or other programs. That's just changing the character spacing, and I can just move it like this really quickly or use these up and down arrows. Okay, I like it like that pretty good. And maybe, let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and ungroup these, and I'm going to move the L over just a little bit further. Okay. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my font tool again here on the left, and I'm going to type in a letter, maybe the letter A. Okay, and I'm going to highlight that and then come over here to this textile panel right here, and I'm going to type in the word dinosaur. And you see dinosaur icons is coming up, and I can hit the enter button on my keyboard, and it automatically changed it into one of these dinosaurs. Now if you're working in the free version, there's no extra tool up here so we can see the glyphs. So in order to put more dinosaurs to see what I have, I'll just need to type them in. Just type in a bunch of letters, and then I can highlight all those letters and come up here again and change this to dinosaur. And that changes them to all the different dinosaurs, or some of them that are available. And then what I would do is I would go Object and Ungroup, because then I have these dinosaurs here and I can use them one by one and choose which ones I want to use. Now I do want to show you quickly if you do have the business edition, and let me switch to that really quickly by going up here to help and view in. Right now I'm in the free edition. If I'm in the business edition, watch what I can do. Let's come over again to the tool, the text tool, and type the letter A, and I'm going to highlight it. And again, I'm going to come over here to the text style panel, and I'm going to type in, just like I'd done before, dinosaur. There we go, and hit enter. Now this time, do you notice this extra little button right here? This is the glyphs button. This allows me to see all of the glyphs that are in a font. So instead of having to type out and guess which dinosaur I want, I can just look at these and change them like that. Click on whatever one I want, just like that. And what's really handy about this is, say you have another font such as, well, maybe you have the Samantha font, and you're wondering where all those glyphs are. Instead of having to open Font Book, you'll be able to see them right here. All of the different letters that you can get, and swirls and designs. So you no longer have to use Font Book or any of those extra things. Everything's just right here for you. So to me, that is worth it for this program. But anyway, so I'm back to this. Let's go back to the free edition because I said I was going to use that. Help, View In. Now watch this little thing over here. My extra glyph viewer is going to be gone when I go back to the free edition. See, it's gone now. When I go to the text tool, there's only 2 here. Okay, I'm going to begin using my dinosaurs, and actually I think the first thing that I'll do is I'll add an offset onto this letters. So I'm going to grab all these, I'm going to group them back together, and I'm going to come over here to this little tool over here on the right. It looks like a star, and I'm going to click on that to open up the offset panel. This is the offset panel. When I click on the word offset, it's going to offset those letters just like that. And I can change how big the offset is by using this little swirly thing. If I want a great big huge offset, or if I want a tiny little offset, right? So let's just imagine today I want that tiny little offset, and I'll just hit apply. And I'm going to make that offset a different color. So this is how easy it is to make an offset for this program. I love that feature. So let's go get these dinosaurs down here. And I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to use. I might like to use him up here, and I might want to make him really big so he goes across a couple of different letters like that. Wouldn't that be cool? I actually think that's what I'm going to do. So I've made him a size I want him to be. I'm only going to use one dinosaur for this one. I've made him a size I want him to be. So I'm going to click on him and then right click on him and say duplicate. And I'm going to pull this duplicate one off. And the reason why is I am going to take him and I'm going to offset him. Now this is a really cool feature to use, especially if you're doing some vinyl layering. Of course, we're just going to be able to print this since we're using the basic edition. Print it from this program. But if you were doing vinyl because you had the business edition and you could say this as an SVG, this is a perfect thing to do to get rid of extra parts of letters that you don't want. See, how big do I want him to make? You don't want vinyl layered upon vinyl. So let's see, I could make him about that big. Trying to see what parts I like to be where. And what I could do is I could change his color actually. So right now he's highlighted. I could come up here to the color swatch and change his color. And another thing that I could do if I wanted to is I could come over here to this thing that looks like a paint palette and click on that. And then here's the word transparency. I could change his transparency so I could see what's behind him right before I do what I'm going to do right now, and that is I'm going to cut him right out of here. Oh, but before I do, I want to give him an offset. I want to make him a little bit bigger, going to give him an offset. So I come over here to the little star tool again, and notice when you hover over these tools, it tells you what it is. I'm going to click on the offset panel. I'm going to say offset. I don't want that big of an offset on him this time. So I'm going to use the down arrow and make it smaller. So maybe about, let's see, that big. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to say apply. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab out the original of him, and I'm going to click on the line, the offset part of him, and then I'm going to click on hold my shift key and click on the text behind him, and then I'm going to say, come over to the modify panel and say subtract. And what that did was it subtracted him right out of the blue. Now, if I wanted that subtracted out of both the black and the blue, let me do Control Z on my keyboard to show you how to do that. Hitting Control Z a few times. All right, and then I'm going to move this guy out. Oopsie. I'm going to move him, if I can get him out of there for a minute, put this back. So what I need to do if I want him to get cut out of both is I need to group both of these letters. So I'm going to right click and group. And now all of that stuff will move together as one group. And I can put him back in front where I wanted him. So I'm just trying to be careful that I get his mouth. You know, I want his head to look pretty good. Okay, that's good. So I have him highlighted. Get him. Hold down my shift key, get the text, and then come up here and subtract. And it's going to subtract it totally out, so all we're left with is the white. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over all of this again and group it. And then I can bring my original back in here if I want to. Oh, that's not my original. That's my original guy. He wasn't that much smaller. And if I want to, I could change him to black or any other color also. Oh, I made him gray accidentally. Oh, you know why he's looking gray like that? I still have the transparency down on him. Let's go back up here to this paint palette. And notice this. If I make this transparency like it was, there we go. So, again, if I was in the paid version for my Cricut machine, which is only $55 approximately, it's a one-time price, I would be able to send this to my Cricut machine as a print then cut, or even as a cut file, and it would cut these things out just like this, and I could layer them perfectly. It would make a really cool shirt, don't you think? So I'm going to group everything again. I'm going to go to File, Print, and it's going to print this on my regular printer. So let me cancel this for just a second. I want to see how big it is. I don't want to waste too much of my ink for my sample. And actually a good thing to do maybe would make it so it will fit on a card. And that will fit on a card just like that. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File and Print and OfficeJet. And what I need to do is click Print. Now if I wanted to, I could change the preferences. If I wanted this to be really good quality for my printer, I'm able to go to Draft, Normal, or Best. I'm just going to leave it as normal. My paper type, I don't have that many options actually. I'm not using plain paper. I'm using a cardstock, but I don't know which one of these would be that. So I'll just click that and say OK. And I'm just going to print it. Again, thank you so much for joining me. If you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and share them. I appreciate that a lot. Also, check out my links down below. I have links for the software for the free edition and the other editions too. Also, check out my classes at patreon.com/PattyAnn. I have $1 a month classes and $5 a month classes, and the $5 a month classes are perfect if you're trying to learn how to use Silhouette for your Cameo machine, your Cricut machine, or your ScanNCut. And yes, you can use this software for your Cricut machine. You do not have to have a Silhouette machine. So again, thanks for joining me. Bye-bye, y'all.